morning. Good morning, everyone. This is Siembra, our first show of the year 2024. Happy New Year's to everyone that is listening to us through VT Radio Universal. Thank you for just getting up this morning and, listening to us. Watching us through the media technology, So this is my first show, Siembra, with Pastor Dennis. He is my co-host. He's been co-hosting with me now for a couple years. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank God, the universe, my grandmother, my mom, and Christian that sits here and, just you guys to, support me in this project and help me out. Just, thank you, Pastor Dennis, for co-hosting with me, getting up on Sunday morning early, trying to figure out technology that sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't work. So thank you, and thank you, Christian, for, getting up early on Sunday morning, that most people want to just stay home and have fellowship with their family. So thank you, and thank you. Thanks for everyone that is listening, everyone that's supporting this radio station. That is one of the first radio stations, Spanish radio stations in Pierce County. So thank you, Christian, for also including me in your little project here. So I wanted to we started a little late, but I wanted to also talk a little bit about what's going on around the world. There's a lot going on around the world. I was talking to you, Pastor Dennis, and telling you more than 50 countries around the world is an election. Taiwan just had an election a couple weeks ago. So we have, I think, 3.4 billion people that are going to be there. The government is going to be changing or maybe staying the same. So I was reading about this and I was interested. I know Mexico is having an election. I know Panama is having an election. I know Chile, not Chile. I'm thinking Uruguay is having an election. Africa, a lot of countries in Africa, Salvador, India, Uruguay, is having an election this year. So this 2024 is a year that we are going to see a lot of changes, or maybe not. I don't know. So good morning, Pastor Dennis. I know you look a little bit... I know you've been trying to figure out technology, how it will work, but good morning.
Well, good morning. It's sad we've gotten to a place with technology that these companies are trying to wag the dog. There used to be a day when everything had to work across the board with everybody, but now you have to use certain things with certain programs, and
it was more simple.
Anyway.
I think like the TV, we complain about the TV, but I'm thinking that, technology make it a lot easier. Especially, I'm saying for me, because before I had to call home and buy calling cards. Now I can call my mom and speak to my mom in Panama. I can see her. We can, we can video. I can just take my phone and talk to her, send her pictures. So that is the part that I love about technology. But I guess we don't know how to almost self-regulate ourselves when it comes to it too, and because there's not a lot of rules in place yet for technology.
Well, the problem is that we've gone through this period of deregulation, and deregulation has allowed, just like the article you sent me talked about, the internet is owned by a select group of businesses, industries, and they are now using that control to manipulate it to their ends. So it used to be, when internet was originally made available, it was out there. It was a new animal. Anybody could use it any way they want to. Well, now some of these people have figured out ways to use it to their advantage over their competitors.
Well, I wanted, and I know we got out a little bit out of subject, but I wanted to go back to what we talk about, money, power, and politics used by the world leaders with a divine license. And the reason we decided to talk about this is because something that you posted on Facebook, you know, I don't know if you have it with you. I should look it up. Something that you posted on Facebook, and it had to do with people that think that their calling and their purpose is to change the world. I'm paraphrasing, so it's not what it says, but that's the way I took it. And I was thinking how it is that we find ourselves with a 1% playing like they God, playing this thing that they want to impact and influence the world, but at the same time, what are they doing is define what is life and nature, and changing how it is that everything, I want to say, like, everything works in a natural way.
Let me read it to you here. I've got it. What I wrote was a quote from George Will. The greatest threat to civility, and ultimately to civilization, is an excess of certitude. The world is much menaced just now by people who think that the world and their duties in it are clear and simple. They are certain that they know what and or who created the universe and what this creator wants them to do to make our little speck in the universe perfect, even if the extreme measures, even violence, are required. And I think the timing of that quote follows Trump's video promotion that he is appointed by God to head this country, which of course then triggered the Lincoln Project to put out the video, God Made a Dictator.
Wow.
Have you seen either of those?
No, I have not. Oh. I try not to hear, because Trump has I want to say has invaded, I don't know if that's the right word, has taken over media. And to be honest, I don't want to hear about him unless he gets to pay consequence, just like everyone, for all the crimes that he committed. So I am just overwhelmed because I'm hearing all these different things about him, but I don't think, honestly, that he is going to be accountable for all the things that he has done. And me and you, the beautiful thing about you and I, not me and you and I, is that we have this relationship where we can disagree, and when it comes to the election. And I was telling you that I I told you, on record. It's going to be on record today. I was telling you that I don't think I'm going to vote for president this year because I'm not really happy with the choices that have given to me. And I'm really happy with the Democrats. But I was watching a show with this guy, and he said, I'm not. He said, I'm not happy either with what's going on with the Democratic Party. I think they really, really are sloppy and he said lazy. They're not doing their job. So, but he said, when I have to choose between democracy and Trump, I have to choose democracy. He said, I really don't want to vote for Biden, but I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting for democracy. And I thought about it for a minute, and I said, okay, is that's what we have to do? That's what we have to do. But I don't think the Democrats should have put us in that position, and they should have given us more choices. And
Well,
I was listening to Kamala Harris, and all these people in the Democratic Party, where they're very afraid of because President Biden is 33%. He is down 33%. 77% of the people think that he should not run. So we in a cross line where we have to decide. And like the article that I sent you, when we was reading, we read that the democracy is declining around the world. Is a recession in democracy, and the reason is because we have these powerful people that with money and power are trying to control the 99% masses around the world. And this God syndrome of the rich and powerful is doing something to the world where they think that they can escape from all the things that they're creating when it comes to the environment, when it comes to wars. I mean, right now we having 2 wars, and we have people sitting in their homes or in their offices deciding who lives and who doesn't, and who they decide who's going to live and who's not going to live. Pastor Dennis, I was watching this show, and the guy said, only because they're Muslim, they don't want us. They want to kill us. And it kind of rubbed me in the wrong way, because when he said only because we're Muslims, and I was thinking about labels that was created by men, religious labels, political labels. And what it keep us from seeing the humanity of people behind those labels. So I don't like you because I'm a Christian and you're a Catholic. I don't like you because you're a Muslim and I'm a Christian. I don't like you because you're a Jew and I'm a Muslim. Those labels take away from me looking at you as a human being and looking at you as whatever you want and you feel, I want and I feel too. And
right.
Mm-hmm.
One of the, and I agree with you on that. One of the problems that we've got today is that the limitations of democracy have come to be realized. There never has, nor will there ever be an opportunity to vote between 2 candidates that the majority of people want as their president. There never will be, because we all have individual tastes and preferences. Um, the limit of democracy is that you have to have compromise, and somebody has to compromise somewhere, and somebody has to agree to vote for somebody that is not their favorite candidate. Period.
but I
Otherwise,
have
we don't have democracy. Will never work. And the problem that we face today is the lack of awareness of that reality. We tend to think just because someone doesn't have popular vote, we shouldn't vote for them. You know, the the idea that Biden should have the majority of popular vote during the candidacy um, is isn't realistic.
but it have
Because most of the time when we vote uh, be, uh, based on the choices that we've got.
well, and I don't want to really get into this with you because
Mhm.
they have not given us choices. The honesty is not. They have not. We have two men that we don't want as a country, and you know, but and and when you said the popular vote, there is Hillary Clinton got majority of the popular vote. Barack Obama, most people wanted him, an overwhelming voted for him. So it is possible to have a candidate that most of the country wants, you know. So I have to disagree with you in that part because I think it's possible to put somebody that the most of the country wants. But
Okay,
I wanted to go in.
but you're comparing before the primaries and after the primaries. Before the primaries, the majority of people didn't prefer Hillary or President Obama. It
No,
was only after the primaries when there were only two options.
no,
Then they
but
preferred Hillary or Obama over the
well,
Republicans.
Hillary is another thing because I don't want to even talk about that because I think the Democrats put her there. But for President Obama, I think overwhelming the country wanted him. They wanted him. They
After
yeah,
the
yeah.
primaries, yes.
No, not after. Before the primary, they wanted him. They wanted it him. He overwhelming people wanted it, and he was very popular. And his first term, they wanted something different, and
Mhm.
most of the people wanted to see a president that he had this energy that everybody wanted this man as a president. Most, I would say, at least 60 to 70% of the people wanted him versus the other candidate. But I don't want to get out of what we want to talk about. I was looking at here, and I don't, let's talk a little bit about money and how money influence and change the world. We have these billionaires that are working and playing like they are God. And I said God because that's who I believe that created everything.
Mhm.
So let's talk about a little bit about these billionaires that we have. And I was reading something here that it says here, and it was talking banks and stock finance fossil fuels and other forms of climate destruction. Let me see right here where it says, in other words, we are not all the same. Billionaires loom large over our politics and environment in ways that are hard to understand without taking on the shocking scale of their wealth. The impact
Mhm.
both through their climate emissions and their manipulations of politics and public life means that they are not like the rest of humanity. They are behemoths. I don't know what that word means. Um, and they are mostly,
Behemoths.
yes, mostly use their outside power in ugly ways, both in how much they consume and how much they influence the world climate response. So, what do you think about this, Pastor Dennis? Let me put.
Yeah. That is absolutely true. It's been true for years. We're more aware of it today because of the amount of information that's out there. Um, in yesteryear, it was those people financed what people heard. Now, people who don't have much money can post stuff. Our biggest problem right now is being able to tell the difference between what's true and what is fake, which has always been true, you
Yes,
know.
and
But
we
it's even true. It's even a bigger deal now that there's such a volume of information out there.
no, and I was reading this here too. But billionaires are a menace to the rest of us. There are shared politics size warps. Our public life disproportionately older, white, and male. They function as unelected powers, a sort of freelance global aristocracy who are too often trying to reign over the rest of us.
Yes.
Wow.
Historically, we called them oligarchs,
Wow.
but
And go ahead, Pastor Dennis.
in fact, and that's the problem with the American dream is the American dream is a sales gimmick. It's not actually true. There's truth in it, but it's not actually true. You can't, by your own power of will yourself into success. Um, a whole lot of that is luck and kind of like the alignment of the stars, the old historic way of looking at stuff. Um, but it's at least available. It never used to be available. Where our system of classism, that you were born into a class and you have to stay there, that has been destroyed. But it's the systemic element of it that we are now having to address, because people in lower socioeconomic environments don't have access to that upper class and the freedoms of that upper class. And sometimes people are get lucky and they break out of it and move up the scale, but those things still exist there. In this country, historically, if you went to one of the primary schools, Yale, Princeton, Harvard, all of those, then you immediately moved into the upper class, if not the rich, just because it was a relational system. Well, we've thrown out that relational system on an official level, and everybody has to compete on their own merits. Well, that has created a quagmire, because it has become, with that system, everybody has to perform, and you don't have to be honest in your performance. You just have to be convincing. So it's become a charismatic issue. If you have enough charisma, you can move up.
And one of the things that you were saying, that I was talking to a friend one time. Her daughter went to a very prestigious university in the East Coast, and I was a private university too. And she was like, I said, look, the only personally, I told her, personally, I think it's not that they teach better than a regular university. It's that is more of the social, the environment that you're setting up and putting your daughter is that what I think these universities are. That you go into school with daughters and kids of president, Congress. It's not the teaching. I don't think it is the teaching.
No, it's not.
It's more of connectivity, connecting to each other and having all these people that you can have, access to and resources to push you up a little bit. But it's not really a better university, I think, but we defer. She said no. I said yes. I said it really is about connections when you send your kids to those schools. It's not really getting better. They're not better when they're teaching. They just, it's the name, the label. Again, let's talk about label. If you have that label, I mean, look at what we had with this girl, what's her name? She started, and she went to prison because she started this blood thing. Remember, she was just 19 years old when Elizabeth, I think her name was Elizabeth, and she started, and she, yes, and she was just 19, 20 years old. She just presented herself like she was smart. She presented herself like she was a entrepreneur, and she fooled everybody. She did, So you're right. You're right. Is and the not the Bitcoin kid too, that took all this money and had everybody investing, including my son. And it was a scam. You just have to look at the part and have these connections, and they had famous people advertising and speaking about, they had it that they was getting paid to say those things too. Most likely they're not even invested, and if they invested, losing some couple $1 million jump change for them, So capitalism, I said, we think is a good thing, but anything that doesn't have boundaries and rules and regulations is it can just go sour. It can just go out, because this is what we have happening right now. We have these rich people destroying the planet, and even destroying the planet, they are looking to go outside of this that we call Earth to create another world somewhere else. Because we have Elon Musk, we have Jeff Bezos, that they are creating this. They created this these space flies commercial because they want to see if you can live outside of the Earth. And I'm thinking, what is going on? You guys are destroying, and now you want to just decide we're gonna just see where else we can go and kill the resources, and I don't know. I just was
the reason they are doing it is because they are drunk with power. Because there is a tendency amongst us commoners to think, well, the reason they are up there is because they're so much smarter, and because God has blessed them, and all of that crap. God has nothing to do with their success. Their success is they they played a good game. They fooled enough people to get into that position. Just because they're in that position doesn't mean they're smarter. They could have just been a better actor.
And connections and again we have wealth that has been transferred from generations to generations,
Yeah.
especially for the white man,
Yeah.
so we talking about Elon Musk, and I had this conversation with my son. No, he's smart. I said no, he was, and he is rich because his dad had oil stuff in South Africa. So he's not he's not like he got up and he's super smart and make money. He made money because he already had money and connections. That's who he is. Bill Gates too. His mom used to work for the government and had worked with computers when just computers was allowed just for the government, was usable just by the government. And Microsoft, he had those connections. His parents had money too. Not money like what he has, but they had money. So when we look at these billionaires, we think, oh my God, they're so smart. No,
Yeah.
they already was born with the advantage. And I was listening to something because right now in the Republican Party is trying to stop all the programs that give advantage to minorities when it comes to diversity, when it comes to uh, grants to start businesses. I was listening to this the other day, and they are trying to change that and stop that. Why? And they said, well, we already give you enough time for you to catch up with us. And I said, no. I said, what? If you, Pastor Dennis, you're white male and you was born with 50 steps ahead of me. So when you make 20 steps, I'm still behind 50. I
Yeah.
could never get close to you. So
Yeah.
now they feel like, no, why are they getting all these grants and advantage and we are not? Because you was already born with these advantage. You have 100 step and I can never, you make 20, I'm still behind 100.
Yeah.
So this is the narrative that we have now. They don't want black women, they don't want Spanish people to get these grants because they say, why are they getting it and we are not? And this is the narrative that we have. When the billionaires and the politicians tell the reason you are where you are is because they're getting your stuff. They're taking away from you.
Yeah.
And white poor people don't recognize that they are being used as a pawn.
Yeah. You know what? I watched a video, a TED talk, just this week that was really potent. The guy, and I have called the colorblind marker racist on this show, but he was promoting the original concept behind colorblind, and he made a valuable point with that, and that is that because of the civil rights issues, the complete roadblock to minorities getting to the top has been removed, and so the real obstacles today is classism. The idea that that there is a zero-sum game, that for certain people to get ahead, certain people have to be without, because the rich and the needy, when you add them together, need to add up to zero.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a false narrative, but it's a narrative that we nonetheless have believed. It's a narrative that started to justify slavery. It's a narrative that is used to justify the homeless and the poor. The reason it's a narrative that says the reason why we have homeless people is because they're lazy.
Oh,
You
they're
know,
drug addicts, or they're drug, and they don't
exactly.
want to work, and they want to hang out. They want people to just give them free stuff,
Right.
and you hear the poor people, and the people that are the middle class people talking that way, but they don't realize the corporate welfare. There is
Exactly.
corporate
Yeah.
welfare,
Yeah.
and they complain about somebody maybe scamming the welfare system for $200 or $300 when we have corporations that are getting money, welfare, it's a corporate welfare. So
They're
we
scamming
always,
the public funds.
yeah,
The
we
corporate
always
people are.
looking down and not looking up to see what is going on, because we don't have also that access. So we look at what our environment is made of. One of the things that I like to tell people is that there is right now. I'm going to talk bad about President Biden. I'm going to. I have to be, and one of the things of label, when I talk about label, I was talking about label. I don't want to label myself anymore. I don't want to say that I'm a Christian. I don't want to say that I'm a Democrat. I don't want to say that I'm a Republican. I don't want to. Why? Because it takes away from me. It takes away from how people see me. And I was talking to my neighbor, and she just become a newborn Christian. And you know what happened when you just start Christianity? You want to save everyone. You're hitting everyone in the head with your Bible, and you're using the word. And she used to be a Catholic, and now her family telling her you change, and she's buying Bibles and she wants to read, and she said, I know the Bible said that I'm gonna lose people in this journey, and I just tell her, you try not to be so forceful with your family and your friends. And the problem is not that she was Catholic. Now she looks at the Catholic like there's something wrong. And I was thinking about that last night, and I said the issue here is that if I label myself, then I think that my label, the label that I have on myself, is better than what you have. And that is what happened. All of us are looking for God in different ways. We call him different things. But, the religious community has created something that if I'm a Christian and you're a Catholic, Christianity is the real thing, has the real God, and your Catholicism is not good.
Join the right tribe.
Yes. and that's what I was noticing from her too. That I know I was there when I started my journey with God. But the thing that we start looking is that you need to let go of that and now join to me, because I have the right thing. And when I think about the war in Gaza and in the Middle East, it's the same thing. It's then saying we Jewish people are the real kids and sons of God, and he give us that. We are better than you, and that's why you deserve to die. And it takes away the humanity of people that you don't know. They said 99% of everybody behind this color skin is the same.
Yeah.
It's the same. But when we start labeling ourselves religiously, politically, or even by region or area or country, then that's when the device we start looking and minimizing the humanity of who we are.
Yeah.
Even by gender,
Yeah.
male, female, even of, even I want to talk even of the LGBT community. We look at the LGBT community more of the preference than a human being. That's the only thing we're thinking when we think about a gay couple, is that we have two men or two women together. Instead of looking at humanity, that they love, that they are exercising their God given feeling of want to be loved and love someone else, and that's what so labeling is really bad. I don't want to label myself. I don't want to label myself because it takes away from you, humanity.
Labeling allows us to be lazy. It allows us to presume certain things are true and certain things are false, and thinking that you can trust a label is dangerous. And that's at the core of the power that these mega rich have.
Yes.
Is we assume that they're there because certain things are true. They're smarter, they're more talented, they're leaders. None of those might be true. We're living in a day with Trump, who the only leadership abilities he's got is the power of the do not disclose policies. The fact that we have such a legal instrument that you can threaten and scare somebody into signing a do not disclose document is horrific.
I don't even understand how. But the thing is that we're living in a world where we constantly needs to be, I want to say the word, entertained. So, the other day he said something, and me and my son, we was in the kitchen. Me and my son was in the kitchen, and my son was doing something, and I was doing something, and we automatically stop and just start laughing, the two of us simultaneously, because you can't believe this man, but he is funny. He says some stuff he's funny. And you hear people like he's charismatic. He's charismatic too. So President Obama told that to President Biden. The Democrats have miscalculated that this man has charisma, even though all the bad things that he has done, so he has a way of having people like him for saying or doing the things that he's saying. When he said the first day of me becoming a president, I'm going to be a dictator. I don't know. People are not shocked and afraid of that because he is an entertainer. And we need to be stimulated constantly by being entertained. And we don't question that. That's probably my biggest thing. I question everything because we all have this thing dandling in our face that is entertaining us, so we're not looking behind that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the danger too, that we constantly looking to be stimulated by entertainment. And he is very, we laugh. Me and my sons just stop and say, we could not believe what he was saying, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Well,
the reality show has helped set him up for success. the reality shows
And
that
he
we
has
see
this
all the time.
bombastic attitude that is he made $1, he's gonna tell you he made $100, and people
Yeah.
believe him.
Yeah.
You see, as he went to Mars, he's gonna tell you I went to Mars, Jupiter, and Venus, and people gonna believe him because he has this personality, this bombastic personality, where
Uh-huh.
people would believe what he said. So we in this place where we don't question stuff because we just want to be stimulated by entertainment. And this, I said this country, but I said the world. Today, the world. I mean, when you look at education, the struggle of teachers and professors, and when you look at what is sport, these coaches make millions and millions of dollars to teach kids to run a ball when the teachers in the same school are struggling just to get the wages of a cost of a living. So, so we are constantly, this is what is put to our plate, that we need to be entertained, and that entertainment is more valuable than education and questioning,
I think with Trump, it's more than just education. He has taken the performance piece because we've been taught to give people what they want to see. Okay, he is the average American grasps that that's happening, and that a performance doesn't necessarily tell me the truth about a candidate. But Trump has taken that, and he openly says conflicting things, and he says the opposite of one thing here and another thing there, and he plays fun with that performance thing. He just mocks it to the nth degree, and because of that, he can say how he really feels in the public eye and make people think that he feels differently than that, so that when people confront him on it, he can make it look like those people are rejecting his mockery or his humor. Does that make sense?
It makes sense, but I think, and let's go back. I'm thinking, how is the world changing? The world is changing, and when we started the show, we were talking about democracy, that there is a recession in democracy. There's this notion that the white countries are feeling that they are losing power, and they are moving more into that totalitarian type of governance, and the reason is because they feel like, and again, politicians use the poor people like pawns to believe, like Hitler, he told the German people, he said, look, these Jewish people are your problem. This is who they're taking away from you. Look how successful they are. Look how they striving in your country. All of that they have is yours. It should be yours. And I think that we are in this era of that again, that people are, and the reason they are struggling in the world is because of these rich people. But we don't look at them and say, this is the reason. They are playing a game with us to put us against each other in order to do what they want to do,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think your article doesn't really address a a walking away from democracy, but a lack of confidence in
Yes.
democracy.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and because in reality, the problem, if we had 100% democracy, we would go nowhere at any time because everybody having input into what happens is going to create a major stalemate because everybody has a preference of theirs that is different from their neighbors.
Well,
So it's in so democracy, pure democracy doesn't work, but we have to figure out ways to use the principles of democracy in a way that does work. I like in the state of Washington, um, our governor has done something that I think is brilliant. He's created commissions for a mass diversity of life experiences in the professional world. Um, and he has created opportunities for rank and file people to be on a commission, and the commission uh, um, evaluates issues in their fields and provides recommendations to the legislative body on what kinds of legislation need to happen to bring more egalitarian participation in society. And it, and and until I became aware of those commissions, I didn't understand how he was succeeding in getting so much popular legislation and doing such amazing things until I understood the system that was put in place to accomplish this. And most states don't have this.
and basically, he was trying to get into areas and listen to every community
Yeah,
in order to
the
meet those needs.
right. We have a system currently where a local town and a local county and a local state, all of them are completely independent systems.
Wow.
And so they all function completely on different levels. But his Ensley's concept was uh, to build a smaller entity that feeds into a larger entity that feeds into a larger entity, and we could get more democratic involvement in the system. And I think probably at some point that was the concept of all of those levels, was that one level would feed into the next level would feed into the next level, so that we could get more fresh blood running from the beginning to the end of the system. But that, you know, and that is, America is built on a republic concept, not a democratic concept. It's a republic concept, and that is that same system of empowering each level to feed into the higher levels, um, and that system can work if it's used properly. Unfortunately, um, uh, President Obama was one example where the American people got tired of that system of republic, and we hired Obama to jump that system from. He went from a state level lowerling in the legislative area to a federal lower level legislature directly to the president. Never, you know what I'm saying? That kind of a thing. And we we've gotten this idea that we can get good candidates that bypass the republic system. Does that make sense? And Trump bypassed everything.
Yes, he did.
And and the reality is we're facing the consequences of that happening because the guy has no knowledge of civics. He doesn't know our Constitution.
But
He doesn't know how civics works.
President Reagan too, right? Oh, he was the governor of what? Of California?
California. Yeah.
Okay, so he had a little bit of how to run. Okay.
He had more experience than Trump does.
Okay.
But he came from the world of charisma, Hollywood.
Yes, he did.
He built a charismatic platform before he ever moved to politics. And he went directly. He didn't deal with the city level. He didn't deal with the legislative on the state level. He went directly to the governor's office.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I
they're
thought
directly to the
I
president.
thought about him when you were saying that because I think he was part of that too. But
Yeah.
and I'm thinking of a democracy and republic, but I was thinking about leadership, the people that we put in place for leadership, you know, and how it is that religion. Let's talk a little bit about religion and state, separation of state and stuff. That it's never been that. I don't think it's ever. I think the Catholic Church as a religious type of government too. When you see that we have the Pope and the priests and all of those are different tiers too of governing in religion, and it's very entwined with governing the country and putting social things in place for people. Even religious, they have Muslims too. The whole Middle East that is Muslim, and is a lot of those countries are run as a theocratic countries that everything is based on religion, you know. So how it is that religion has become something that is entwined with legislating and governing, and more we're seeing that here in the United States, where we're seeing that religion, before it was like a little bit not so predominant now, but we have Ron DeSantis, and we have all these Republicans that are talking, and the Supreme Court, where we have, you know, the Supreme, and they're not really religious people. It's more of controlling and
Materialism?
no, how's that word? But it's more of manipulation
Manipulating.
and controlling. So how it is that we, again, use God, that he has nothing to do with what's going on, to force these religious things that supposedly are in the Bible, that are also set up by man. Because that's what I was telling my neighbor. I said, I don't believe, I know it might be shocking to you, but I don't really believe everything that is in the Bible. There's no way that I would believe that God, that we was created by his image, will look at the Palestinians and tell the Jewish people that it's okay for them to kill them. When the Palestinians and the Jewish people was created by his image. I can't believe that the God that I worship and love will say, you just go ahead and take all the resources from the earth and destroy the earth. I can't believe that. I can't believe that my God will look at male and woman and say man is above woman. I can't believe that. I can't believe that God would not love a gay person just because you think that is not normal for two men or two women to be in love. Love should be always a good thing,
Mhm.
a good thing. So we're looking at how religion is becoming more and more predominant and more acceptable. And people are, I have my brothers that say, they like Trump because, and the Republican Party, because of there should be no gay people in the military. I said, you serious? You are a black Latino man in the United States. You gotta, what?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes.
Yeah, that, religion has always had a voice in politics. Previous to now, in the U.S., it was a voice of accountability, not a voice of influence, but a voice of accountability. Now we want to dictate politics, but but this kind of thing goes back to the identity politics. When you isolate yourself only with your own kind and your own people in a country this size, and you never learn to get along with people that disagree with you, and never learn to give and take and just accept people for the differences that they represent, this is the consequence.
But Pastor Dennis.
A democracy doesn't work without compromise.
But Pastor Dennis, I'm thinking you're talking about the United States, but this is in the world, because I'm talking about Panama. I'm talking about my family, how it is that the religious leaders and religion have embedded this into the people that follow them to think that way. How are they really, really focused on telling people that if you were gay, you're going to hell? This is not only here in the United States.
Yeah.
This is in Africa. This is in Panama. Africa right now, people are dying because of being gay. So this is a global, I will say, agenda that started from the beginning, that men are telling and throwing these things in the universe that people believe, that women should never be preaching, women should never be in leadership, that woman should cover herself from head to toe, even her face or everything. These are things that was thrown by the religious to control and manipulate. So it's not only here in the United States, it's even worse in other countries where
No, and I understand that most of the world has always had some type of official religion, whether it be Catholic or Muslim. Um, it's only in the age of democracy that has been altered, at least in a cursory way, where there is at least an attempt at a secular state, but that's in a lot of places that hasn't been much more than just an attempt. They haven't actually succeeded in that. Most South American countries are still very much Catholic.
yes, and
Governments.
and now they're becoming more and more in Latin America. Christianity is taking over more, though. In
Yeah.
most of the countries, people are becoming more and more Christian. Let's talk a little bit about
mainly Pentecostal.
Yes, let's
Yeah.
talk a little bit about the media. A lot about the media. I wanted to talk a little bit about the media, and I think personally that media and narrative is like the core of everything. If and one of the things that President Obama told President Biden was that he said we have a universe of a media corporation that's supporting Donald Trump. You know,
Absolutely.
you don't have that, and he is likable. Whether we want to say he's not or he is, and how is media projection? I mean, I used to like to watch MSNBC. I used to like to watch Rachel Maddow, but I don't watch them anymore because all of these cable media, the only thing they talk is about Donald Trump and all his woes and all what he has done. I know that this is what has been told to them to talk about. You know, I have not heard these different cable that is, I think they say is about 8 or 9 of them, Fox, Disney, I have the list here too, Fox, Disney, Turner, Time Turner, Media, and they don't want, I'm not hearing how it is that they talk about the war in Gaza, and as they talk about it, is they're trying to limit what they're saying or how they say it when they talk about Israel and what is going on in the Middle East right now. So media is also, I feel like, it's like the core. Whatever narrative and this media, the media and narrative supporting a politician, they have a advantage that with Biden, I'm sorry, but I don't see that in the Democratic Party, and I don't even see that they're trying to do this. I honestly, Kamala, the interview on The View the other day, and they asked her about Donald Trump and what she think, because these ladies, they said, we are just terrified of what's going to happen, and we looking at the President Biden is 33%, and the polls, and they asked her, and she said, I am scared. She said it. The vice president said it. And I was thinking, and then she said something to that caught my attention. She said, no, it's not. She mentioned all the different states where they visit to campaign and stuff now that they started. And she says, not that we think that we entitled and that you have to vote for us. That's why we're going out. And I thought, what? They know. They know, but they're not doing enough to stop this think tank of Donald Trump and the Republican universe of media, of Fox TV. And they need to do more in that area, because President Biden has done a lot of good things, but we don't know and we don't hear about it because they are not putting these, utilizing media at the advantage to put this. Donald Trump is out there every day, and you hear it constantly in all, even the supposedly Democratic lean sort of media. And I was thinking narrative is so important. And why it is that people not want to vote for Biden is not because they don't know what he has done. They're not hearing from him. They're not hearing from his people. And if you, and there is something that is labeled to the Democrats. They don't know how to communicate. They don't know how to use and put people out there. President Obama was really good at that. People love President Obama because he was a good communicator. you know?
Actually, that's not true. When Obama was president, they were saying the very same things as they're saying about Biden. He did not have the popularity when it came to the vote. Before the vote, he did not have the popularity. There was a fear he wouldn't make it. But when the vote actually happened, it was a different story.
I have to disagree because I remember when President Obama was chosen to speak in the Democratic Party when what's his name was running for president. Uh, I'm trying to think, and he that was the first time people see him, and everybody labeled him as he was potential, and I think after that
Oh,
he got really popular. I
oh,
remember that he was used as a speaker. I'm trying to think
you're
this
you're remembering him
as
when
a
he
Senate.
ran the first 4 years.
No,
You're not remembering his reelection
no,
campaign.
I'm not
They
talking.
were very different from each other. But before he became president, the optimism that we could actually have a minority in the White House was huge.
See, when he spoke in that convention, he spoke in a convention, and when he spoke in that convention, that's when he got popular, and people he was seen.
Exactly.
He was seen like, wow, this
He
man
was
is very
he
good.
broke he
But
broke stereotypes
but the point to
all over
me,
the place.
the point to me is that the Democrats are very bad at communicating and saying what they has done, and to the opposite of the Republicans, they are spewing lies and miseducation when it comes to stuff, but we hear it all the time. And media
So
and narrative is very important because the more people hear something, the more they're gonna say that must be true. And if
so
you don't
what I'm
have something to contrast what they're saying, the more people hear it, the more people are gonna say, well, it must be true because I'm not hearing these people saying nothing.
what I'm hearing is that the Democrats should be creating controversy as well. They should be making up stories. They should be having
No, that's not what I
crises
said.
as well.
That's not what I said. I said they should be saying what President Biden has done because he has done a lot of things and we don't know about it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, the problem with that is you have a cat and mouse situation.
How
If
much time I have?
Trump is the cat that creates the narrative, then the mouse is always the victim.
Well,
So it
it
doesn't matter whether
matters.
he answers or he doesn't answer it. He's
Pastor
still the
Dennis,
mouse.
it matters if they say what he has done. He has done a lot of things and we don't hear about it. It matters. He needs to put more people to say what he has done in the 3, 4 years that he has been president. It matters because we're
There
not
is
hearing anything from the Democrats.
there is not a game plan
Wow.
for a chaos maker
Oh, we not.
owning the
eh,
media. There is no game plan for that. There is no way. No, the, Trump is the first man we have ever had that creates chaos everywhere he goes. And no matter who he's competing against, no one has found a way to deal with that,
Okay.
including the
No, not,
Republicans.
it's not that
The
no
fact
one, they don't want to. But Pastor
they
Dennis, Pastor Dennis,
you don't think Nikki Haley wants to be president? You
uh,
don't think the
I don't
DeSantis
know.
wants to be president?
I don't know.
It's not a lack of will.
She's not going to be
They
president.
don't know how to compete against
Um,
that either. Even though DeSantis is is a miniature Trump. he is a controversy maker. On a state level,
Yeah.
he used Trump's playbook masterfully,
And that
but
works.
he's competing against the master now, and he's not making any
No.
headway.
No. Pastor Dennis, we have about 2-3 minutes.
Okay.
We could sit here the whole day. But I wanted to thank you for sitting with me, and it's so beautiful to see that we have this white man sitting here co-hosting with me with this little Afro-Latina woman from Panama, and that we disagree, because that's the beauty. That's the beauty
Uh-huh.
of being human being. That's the beauty of having free will. That's the beauty of loving each other beyond what we agree or disagree.
Mhm.
So and one of the things that I want to tell people is that stop. I can't tell you what to do. I can't tell you stop. But if you look at people beyond the label, then you can see the humanity of people. You can
Yeah.
start loving them. You can start saying, what I want for me and my family, I want for you. That
Yeah.
you was created as God image, and that we was created at God image. And God image is that is love and peace, and to really see me and hear me. Really see me and hear me. We have these things put in place, these people put in place that, like you said and what you posted, that they think their job is to make this world perfect. They think that their job is to control and manipulate the masses to
Mhm.
profit off of it. But the Bible said that even if you all with all your power, you can hide behind the rocks and all of that, God is gonna find you. And
Yeah.
what you put in the universe, that's what you're gonna reap. So I wanted to leave everyone with this word. I know I just want to tell people that stop looking, see me, and hear me. You don't have to understand what and where. Just see me as you see yourself. Okay? So thank you, Pastor Dennis. Thank you, Max. We have Max sitting here for his dad, producing the show, and poor thing, he got up early in the morning.
Thank you,
So,
Max. Mhm.
and thanks everyone to listen. Go out and vote. I know I said something that I wasn't going to vote. Go out and vote. Get involved in the process, the political process, and I will see you next Sunday here at Siembra in VT Radio Universal. Pastor, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to say, don't let Trump turn you into a chump.
Okay.
Okay, he's got the the Republican plan is to create chaos everywhere they can, anytime they can, and to create division amongst the Democrats.
Yes. Yes.
And so he's doing that well. His objective is to get Democrats
Okay.
to not vote.
Okay, Pastor Dennis,
So
thank
anyway,
you. I
but
think we need like 2 hours to talk about these
yes,
things. Okay.
no, I think
Thank
one
you.
and a half hours is more than people can handle.
Thank you, Pastor Dennis.
Bless you.
Bye.